He talks about wacky stuff.
The next warfighting domain is the subterranean domain.
The West Coast and East Coast are definitely getting more cozy.
We've been very effective in the Middle East.
The war in Iran, it's U.S. soldiers, U.S. weapons, and it feels like these Silicon Valley people are at the forefront of that. Hey, I'm Nicholas Johnston. I'm the publisher of Axios. I'm here at Axios World HQ with Colin Demerest, who is just back from California, where we had an awesome interview with Palmer Luckey. He's the CEO and founder of Anduril. He's not the CEO. He's just the founder.
Just the founder.
Well, we'll keep that. He'll fix it later. Colin, why this guy now?
It's a good question. I think it's timely. There's a lot of wars going on. There's a lot of talk about drones and unmanned and autonomous warfare, especially with the Anthropic beef, spat, quarrel, whatever word you want to use. And Anduril's production lines in Ohio will go hot in a matter of weeks, he told me. So throw that all together in a cocktail.
Let's do all of that in order. You mentioned kind of like we're in war with Iran. We've attacked Venezuela. The president is threatening Cuba.
All my life I've been hearing about the United States and Cuba. When will the United States do it? I do believe I'll be having the honor of taking Cuba.
Where does Anduril fit in the battles we're fighting right now?
So I asked that, where in the world have you been effective? Is that Ukraine with drones? Is that Australia with Ghost Shark? Is that the Middle East?
So we've been effective in a lot of places. And of course, we've had bouts where it was ineffective. We've been very effective in the Middle East right now. Ukraine, Taiwan, certainly the United States. We've proven that we are effective a number of times.
Palmer deferred on the Middle East specifics. He promised to give us a recap after it was done. And I think he said...
Without those details, though, they're definitely in the mix. Like, are they providing hardware for this?
They've been using Ukraine.
Yeah.
They're arming Taiwan. They are arming Australia. Palmer did say that they are in the Middle East right now, but he wouldn't say what exactly that is.
For people like me who are maybe approaching this a little newer, like, what do they make now? Are they drone guys? Are they tech guys? Are they all of the above?
They were. Maybe you could define them as a drone company. You could probably define them as a software company that uses hardware to sell their software. Palmer is pro-autonomy. That's the whole point of the company.
That puts them on one side of a massive debate.
Do you think the Pentagon overstepped labeling the company a supply chain risk?
I am of the mind that no. If anything, I think I may have been even more forceful in this rejection.
The Pentagon is throwing Anthropic out of the defense industrial base because they are less pro-autonomy. Tell me about this tension point here and where Anduril fits.
He definitely wants the military to be in control of its own autonomy and AI and its tools there.
If you agree to this, you are giving more power to private companies, executives making billions off taxpayers, than the president of the United States. They could just unilaterally, pull the keys on stuff in a way that not even the commander-in-chief can do. I don't think that that's correct. I think that our military has to be accountable to our civilian elected leadership, not to corporations.
I mean, so that's why Palmer is an important person to talk to now, because this is a debate that is unfolding in real time between Silicon Valley.
I mean, Palmer was an important person to talk to when he was doing Oculus, I think.
Right.
Yeah, he was an important person to talk to when he got the Facebook boot, I think you can describe it as.
Yeah. The invasion of Ukraine was kind of the beginning of this defense evolution, and it was far away, and it wasn't really American military might involved day to day. Now with the war in Iran, like, it's U.S. soldiers fighting this. It's U.S. weapons being deployed, and it feels like Palmer and his company and these Silicon Valley people are at the forefront of that.
Yeah, I think you see with Russia-Ukraine, that first very public pivot, and maybe kind of first very wider audience buy into this defense tech autonomy.
How wars are fought.
I think that really spiked public interest.
Right.
In that topic. I think now with the Iran war, with the U.S., with Israel, with Iran and all its neighbors, we are now seeing the American.
Now we're fighting it.
We're seeing the American
we are having
digestion of it
against us.
I think it's unclear right now how many lessons the U.S. has actually learned from Russia, Ukraine, and how applicable they are to Iran.
Or are we learning them the hard way, asking for help from Zelensky now?
I think that's true. I mean, with like what Barack and Mark and I wrote about
right.
the U.S. turning down assistance a couple months ago.
We touched a little bit on specific tension points between the Valley, the tech community, and the Defense Department. What is the big picture of that?
The big picture is that the West Coast and East Coast are definitely getting more cozy these days.
Yeah.
They're growing closer. They're starting to like each other a little more. They're at the same conferences, the same dinners, the same happy hours. I think Trump 2.0's Pentagon is like very businessman forward.
Right.
You have the Navy Secretary, you have the Army Secretary, you have the Deputy Secretary, Steve Feinberg. They're all business people.
Yeah.
Some of them don't have military experience.
And Palmer Luckey and Anduril were kind of at the forefront of that change. And now I guess maybe the world is caught up.
I would say they're one of the I would say they were at the forefront, or they're the biggest name that has stuck around.
Right.
Because there have certainly been big splashy names in defense tech that withered on the vine for one reason or another.
Yeah. He talks about wacky stuff. Subterranean warfare is what?
You had subterranean on your website.
That's right.
Went a bit viral the other week or month for talking about subterranean capabilities. What are you guys planning? What are you up to?
Anduril has working prototypes of subterranean systems that can deliver a variety of kinetic, electronic, and other effects. I've been talking about it louder and louder and louder because first, when I started talking about it before we had built anything years ago, everyone thought that I was crazy. And to be clear, the thing people thought was crazy is I said, I think the next warfighting domain, before it's the moon, is the subterranean domain. And
is it subterranean then the moon?
Yeah, subterranean then the moon.
I called it an underground war.
And he said yes.
I mean, yeah, he's been talking about this for months. And I mentioned in the interview, like, he went viral a couple months back because he was talking about underground submarines and stuff like that.
Vehicles that can maneuver through the crust of the earth the same way that submarines move through the water are going to be a huge deal. I think they're going to define at least the second half of this century.
And that caught a lot of defense tech people just like, what the hell? I think I'm maybe still in the what the hell camp.
Did he explain how a underground
He said they have
he
said they have working prototypes of subterranean tools or weapons that could deliver effects, which is code for doing damage.
And then after that, the moon.
Yeah, I could see the moon. I could see moon warfare before I could see underground warfare.
I can see moon warfare much more than I can see tunneling warfare, but
Yes.
Of course I don't run a defense contractor.
Me neither. I just write about it.
Colin, great to see you. Welcome back from California. Great interview, and you can catch the whole thing on YouTube.